Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects and music directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. With stories from your favorite Star Wars movies, television shows, and comics, you'll have plenty to keep you entertained. Start listening now wherever audiobooks are sold.
This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is Vanessa Marshall, Harrison Dula from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi. We are your spoiler-free place for Star Wars discussion, analysis, and rhetoric. I'm your host, Dan Z, here with two of my bestest buddies in the whole wide world. We've been having a lot of great interviews recently. We've had Steve Sansweet on, Dan Madsen, Becky Menken has been on, talking about different topics. But today's topic is a little bit bittersweet. I think we knew it was coming, but it's still kind of a tough pill to swallow. So we have to kind of get together in the coffee shop with our good friends, Tom Gross and Cory Clubb. Tom and Cory, welcome back to Coffee with Kenobi.
Hey, thanks.
Oh, it's always great to be here. You know that.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to have you both on. This is our A team. Obviously, people who are patrons of our Coffee with Kenobi Patreon page know these two gents and the three of us and the great chemistry we have on CWK Pour-Over, our exclusive weekly podcast. But on this podcast, the main show, Coffee with Kenobi, we're going to talk about the update on Star Wars Celebration 2020. So I'm going to read the very, very brief thing that's on StarWars.com. To our Star Wars Celebration fans and friends. At Star Wars Celebration, the health and safety of our fans, attendees, exhibitors, guests, and staff is always our number one priority. Due to the global impact of the COVID-19 virus, and in speaking with local and state authorities on the latest public health guidelines related to indoor conventions, we have made the decision to cancel Star Wars Celebration for 2020. While this news is disappointing, we're happy to announce that Star Wars Celebration will return to the Anaheim Convention Center on August 18th to the 21st, 2022. And there's a bunch of stuff there about you can transfer your tickets 2022, or you can just get a refund. All the information you need is on StarWarsCelebration.com. So, guys, talk to me. Tom, we'll start with you. Tell me about your kind of immediate reactions to this.
Well, it was just kind of like waiting for the shoe to fall for me. The other two big conferences that I was, one I was going to, one I just always have my eye to, and that's San Diego Comic-Con and Gen Con in Indianapolis. Those two had started the ball rolling. And so I was just kind of waiting, I suppose, for Star Wars Celebration, although there was such it's about 3 weeks since Gen Con in Indianapolis had canceled, and that was one that people were really thinking wasn't going to cancel. So the fact that there was time between that one and Celebration, I started getting a little hope. And listening to other shows, including Coffee with Kenobi, we were really starting to kind of think maybe this is going to happen. Bittersweet's probably the best way to put it. My initial thought was disappointment. All of the people that I met in Chicago last year, and all of the people that I've been talking to and meeting through social media and the show and other different places, I've just been so excited to see them there. So that's a disappointment. But ultimately, our health and safety is probably number one. Not probably, it is number one. And so, I suppose the best way to look at it, it's the most responsible thing to do. And it's not that it's never going to happen again. We just have to wait a little while.
Cory, what about you?
Yeah, it's a bummer for sure. And I know when this whole thing kind of started up and they were canceling movies and shifting stuff around for that, releases wasn't a big deal because movies can always be released in the fall. I feel like, okay, that can change. And they were moving a lot of movies to the next summer. I'm just seeing that kind of come down the pipe. And then concerts start getting, canceled and moved. And a lot of people depend on that stuff for their income. It's big in those worlds. And just seeing baseball itself not really coming to any fruition for the season, and that was a big bummer too. I know we all like baseball, and just knowing, like I said, knowing it's coming and just when is it going to happen type thing. And I'm more kind of surprised about the new date being 2022. Is that how you say that? 2020? Yeah. I don't know. 2022. It's right. It's correct. But I was surprised to see that that pushed out that far. It makes me wonder, well, maybe we're really going to skip a year, or do something in Europe or another country the following year. Maybe that was the idea. I don't know. It stinks because I think we're all ready to get back to normal, and there's just one more blow to kind of that feeling. And for the same reasons Tom mentioned too, I want to see my friends. I talked to a lot of people online, obviously. I'm excited to see them. This is one of the big events we get to go do. And Anaheim was a big success for Coffee with Kenobi, our old stomping ground, if you will. A lot of memories there too. I was excited to see see us, kind of blossom even further and kind of see how that goes. But, we just have to wait and see what comes of in a couple of years. My hope as a fan would be that, more Star Wars things would be kind of building up and getting on to the journey of new films or new TV shows or whatever it might have you. And we might have some more announcements for that celebration. And that'd be kind of more of excitement. Where this year might have been kind of low key on that end. But it's a bummer for sure. But my hope is that, like you said, that everyone stays safe, and is healthy, that they can attend in a couple of years here and also can afford to attend. I know a lot of folks, it's a big expense for them, and giving this gap might give them a chance to put some money away, save a nest egg to make attend the future convention. So kind of a good and bad, I guess, and just seeing where the state of things kind of lie. Not a big surprise, but also in some respects kind of a big bummer.
Yeah, my instant reactions were disappointment. Of course, I mean, celebration is a wonderful thing in my life. It certainly brought me a lot of great memories. Every time I go, I feel like more and more wonderful things happen. Coffee with Kenobi continues to grow their Star Wars footprint. And it's very, very rewarding. This was going to be the celebration where I was going to get to do a lot of stuff as an author for the first time. Yeah. And so that was going to be a real thrill. We also had, 5 or 6 things planned that some of you two don't even know about that we were going to do that were going to be really, really special. So it is all disappointing. It is a little sad, but you know what? It also isn't. I mean, some of the great stuff about Celebration for me has been the anticipation and the hype. And historically with celebrations, and Cory, I know you'll remember this, about a year out, it seems like every week there'll be an announcement about a new guest showing up or a new panel or a new piece of merchandise or a new exclusive thing that was going to happen or just whatever. We've got none of that. And Celebration was going to be in a couple of months. So all that pomp and circumstance, we usually do a month of weekly shows leading up to Celebration where we talk about and give tips and suggestions and all that kind of stuff. Well, obviously, we're still 2 months out, but those things weren't happening. I mean, this was not the traditional Celebration, and there really wasn't anything major to promote. I went up through the history of Celebration. Celebration 1 was in April, the end of April to early May 1999. That was for the Phantom Menace. It was in Denver. Celebration 2 and 3 were both in Indiana at the Indiana Convention Center. Celebration 2 was 2002 of May. Celebration 3 was April 2005. So those obviously promoted Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Then 2 years later, they had Celebration 4 in Los Angeles in May 2007. That was to honor the 30th anniversary of the franchise. Then a couple of months later, July, they had Celebration in Europe, in the UK. And then in 2008, the next year, they had Celebration Japan, first event in Asia. Then Celebration 5 and Celebration 6 were at the Orange County Convention Center. This is, there wasn't really major stuff at either of these, but Celebration 5 was August 12th to the 15th, 2010. Celebration 6 was August 16th to 19th, 2012, both at the Orange County Convention Center. Then the next year, we had Celebration Europe, 2013. That was the first one under Disney. 2015 Celebration Anaheim, of course, is the first one Coffee with Kenobi attended. That's when Cory and I first attended Celebration as Coffee with Kenobi. We were also the first podcast to ever be on the podcast stage. It was great. Then the next year, they had Celebration Europe, July 2016, also in the UK. That was when Rogue One was the big one. And then 2017, Celebration Orlando, Orange County Convention Center. That was for The Last Jedi. That's when they had Star Wars Galactic Nights at the studios, which was so fun. 2 years later, we had Celebration Chicago at McCormick Place, which is obviously great, and the first one that Tom got to attend. And then Celebration Anaheim, the second one was going to be August 18th to 21st. Oh, no. Sorry, it is going to be August 18th, 21st, 2022. So we're talking about what, a 4-year gap? No, a 3-year gap. So that's a little bit longer than what we were used to. But then again, as we said, it's somewhat expected now. There's been a lot of question about why is it going to take so long? Why aren't they having one next year? Well, I mean, they haven't officially said this, and I don't even know if this is the actual reason, but I mean, just logic to me dictates that every other August at the Anaheim Convention Center, they have the D23 Expo, which is Disney's huge convention. That's still going on. They're not going to compete with themselves. So to me, I didn't expect it to be in 2021 because that's when the D23 Expo will be, if God willing, this COVID stuff is a thing of the past.
Right.
So a lot of information there.
It's got to be hard, right? I mean, it's got to be hard to make these decisions and for everything. I was thinking about San Diego Comic-Con and how they're doing everything virtually online. I thought, well, is that the way they could be able to do things? And I don't know. I'm excited to try that virtual experience because I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. Can I experience the panels and get the same feel of what it might be like on the showroom floor? I don't know. It's just different. I think people are trying to adapt a little bit and still give us fans something to do and be excited about. So I'm certainly looking forward to that. But is that right for Celebration to do something similar? Does it work in that format? It's to each their own. And I think the biggest hope here is that it will still go on. I think it's like we said, it's just a matter of time before we get back to normal. And just another thing to kind of just, keep in the back pocket as coming soon. So, yeah, it's hard but true.
I appreciate you giving us the background and giving us some of your thoughts on why not next year, because I guess my initial assumption was that if we have to cancel this year, we really don't know what 2021 is going to look like at this point still. So I wondered if that was why they made it 2 years out. But so the little backstory on D23 would naturally be in 2021. Then, okay, so that explains why the 2-year delay. And yeah, you know what? I never thought of the virtual side for Star Wars because it seems so. This is kind of this statement I'm going to make here doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe it does. When San Diego said they'd do a virtual, that didn't surprise me. When Gen Con said they would do a virtual, that didn't surprise me. But for some reason, for Celebration, it doesn't feel like it would be right. I don't know how to articulate why that is. I think because I feel like Celebration is so much more personal. Yes. It's a mono culture. Does that make sense? We're there for Star Wars. Gen Con is role playing and board games and card games and dice games, and there's such a huge culture, and it's everything from manga fans to board game fans to Star Wars fans. I mean, everybody's there. Same thing at San Diego Comic-Con, and I know, Dan, you've been to that one, so you could speak to that one. But this seems so much more general. that virtual makes more sense. But Star Wars is so much more, in my eyes, personal that I don't really, I mean, I already visit with everybody that I would see at Star Wars virtually. So like I'm living that through my life. So it doesn't seem the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, exactly, because I think being a fan of Star Wars has always been a very personal thing, and I think Lucasfilm and Disney know that. I mean, obviously, that's why we're a fandom that's almost self-sabotaging ourselves sometimes when we get into the nitty-gritty of discussion, because we're so passionate as a fan base for Star Wars, and that's not something you can necessarily say for a lot of other things, and they don't have a specific convention that's this big on this scale for other fandoms that I personally know of. But and that's what it is. It's very personable. You kind of identify by being a Star Wars fan. So that's why I think that they're kind of not doing it that way, because you're right. It doesn't feel as personal or connected. And that's like the biggest takeaway that I will be missing is, the stars and the events and all the fun. That's great, but it's personal for me. Like, it's a personal event. It's like going to a family reunion. It's personal. So that's kind of how I categorize it.
Honestly, having gone to a number of these things, this is a true story, and people who've been listening to the show for a while may remember this. But when I went to San Diego Comic-Con, I went to preview night, and then I got in. I was out looking at stuff, and then Deanna went when she was out shopping when I went and attended the preview stuff, and then I was going to meet her back at the hotel before we went to dinner. And I got in the elevator, and there was one other person in the elevator with me, just one person, and that person's name was Dave Filoni. and we actually talked about the differences between Celebration and Comic-Con, and he said Comic-Con is great, but Star Wars Celebration is the best because it's all Star Wars focused, and it's just got a much more personal, intimate vibe to it. And you guys just mentioned that, and there you go, you guys and Dave Filoni, that's some good company. And it's very, very true.
It sounds like a start of a joke. I walked on an elevator with Dave Filoni.
Yeah, I know. And I know. There I was. And no, but the reason I think the virtual thing wouldn't fly as well, I mean, you can watch these panels and stuff, and that's great. But the community and the reactions that you get to do in person, the live podcast meetups that we were going to do. Mm-hmm. Going on the floor and bumping into Star Wars actors and Doug Chang and authors and all this kind of stuff. And that's just very authentic. And then you got the Star Wars show in the middle with Andy and Anthony. And it's just got a really, really cool thing. There's very specific merchandise and all kinds of vendors there, and just seeing people that you talk with throughout the year online and on podcasts and listen to or watch on YouTube, and getting to converse with them is very, very special. And it causes a really, really wonderful bond that I think Star Wars is so great about. It's such a great community. And speaking of community, people have been saying, hey, what about, Disneyland After Dark Star Wars night? I went through a lot to get those tickets. A lot of people did. We tried to get them. They were sold out. You say that you had them, then we didn't have them. And then everybody had to call managers at Disneyland to try to get a chance to purchase them again. It was just a lot of stuff that a lot of people went through, but it all worked out. Well, Michael Ramirez, he's the director of Disneyland Resort Public Relations. I know him. He's a pretty good guy. And he posted an update on Disney Parks blog, and this is what it says. And this is dated 6/15, so it's on Monday, the 6/15, 2020. In light of the recent cancellation of Star Wars Celebration, we are making the decision to postpone Disneyland After Dark Star Wars Night event to a later date. Please visit Disneyland.com/Star Wars Night for details. For more information on Star Wars Celebration, please visit StarWarsCelebration.com. So basically what that means, they're going to move that. Are they going to move it until 2022? Or are they going to move it to the D23 Expo? Or is it just going to be something random? I don't know. What I do know is that if you've got your tickets, you've still got your tickets. So whatever they do, we're still going to have them. So, I mean, of course, it's in California, but hopefully they're going to move it to a time when people are already going to be there together anyway. Did you guys thought about that night at all?
Yes, absolutely. I know that was a big exciting piece. Last time we went was Galactic Nights. Huge fun. And I remember I kind of, I don't want to say rolling my eyes. I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, doing this with Galactic Nights and what it'll be like. And you're like, no, it will knock your socks off type thing. And I was like, okay, we'll go. It was fantastic. Literally, we were walking rides and just, laughing it up with our buddies. And
it was
walking
you,
down
me, Jeff McGee,
USA.
and Dennis Keithley.
Yep. It was a fantastic. I loved it. It was
so great.
They treated you like royalty in the sense of like everything was Star Wars, and it was just like, and that's the way Disney does it, and that's what I've come to understand is trust Dan's opinion. So
I'll take it.
But definitely a good time and something I'm looking forward to when we go back.
Oh, yeah. Man. So I mean, we had applied, of course, to the podcast stage. There were certain panels that I had applied to and different things I've been asked to be a part of. And hopefully those things will still happen in 2022. But either way, there's a part of me that was a little bit excited. And Cory, you alluded to this when we started the show. But one thing that is exciting about this is that now people who couldn't necessarily make it, they're going to have a couple of years to save up. To me, that's very encouraging because I feel like when we were in Chicago, the fact that they announced the one that was going to come out this year, I feel like it was pretty quick. It just seemed kind of sudden. And now I feel like we've got a little more time to save up, which is very encouraging to me because that means more people will be able to join us. And that's what I want. Like I'm super bummed I'm not going to finally get to meet Craig Dickinson. I was really looking forward to introducing to you to Colby Mead and Simbat Darian and everybody, and getting to see LJ again and Dave and David and everybody. And, the list goes on and on of the wonderful people in the Star Wars community. So I'm definitely missing that. But I mean, honestly, we mentioned this on Pour-Over recently, but I miss traveling. So I'm going to try to go to the D23 Expo. I can't imagine that I won't go. Tom has the awesome Steam into Star Wars Day. And Tom, I don't know if I told you this or not. I may have on the phone yesterday. When I told Mason that Star Wars Celebration was canceled, he was very disappointed, very depressed, more than I expected. And then after a few moments of conversing, I realized he thought that meant Steam into Star Wars wasn't going to happen.
Oh,
yeah. So, and I told no, that's Delaney's very happy, and I'm happy about it too, because that kind of became our own little Midwest Star Wars celebration.
That's right. And I think about that. I mean, Star Wars Celebration and Steam into Star Wars are on completely different galaxies of levels, but I felt like I could really. Because even that is still sort of in conversation as to whether something like that will be able to happen still. As far as I'm concerned, we're still doing it. I'm still planning it. Yeah. But I
can get you at least one Star Wars author.
Hey, yes, that's right.
There you go.
But so I can feel for the decision that has to be made, and that you have to do it in a timely manner in order to respect everybody's time and money and reservations and all of that kind of thing. So I feel for the people who have to make that call. But the last thing you want is to be, just a few weeks out and have a flare up. Of the virus or a spike in the virus. And so, but yes, oh my gosh, I'm so looking forward to Steam into Star Wars are what I guess I like that. I like that idea, that image, that it's our own sort of Midwest celebration itself, and it'll be extra special this year because we won't have anything else.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, when you were just talking about things that you'll miss, the podcast meetup is probably the thing. I mean, there's tons of things to be excited about with the Star Wars Celebration. The list is really pretty endless, and I'm so I feel so privileged to be able to say that I've been to one before, so now I can talk about it with some authority. But the podcast meetup is one of the things that I was most looking forward to. Just to see the people that we met last year in Chicago, but then all of the people who I didn't get to meet. There's some people that were there that I didn't know were there or didn't meet them. And so, but now I have, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we definitely have to hang out this year. So we just have to put it off and just let that anticipation, as you mentioned, Dan, build some more. And I was thinking while you guys were talking that, and this is kind of going back to the virtual side of things, that I really hope they don't do that, because it's like the difference in this, I
don't think they're going to.
When you post a trailer online, of course, it's super exciting. It's fun. You get excited. You get goosebumps, but you have no one to share that with. And so I think about, like, I guess I would be anticipating that, I don't know, something regarding Mandalorian or Cassian Andor or something like that would come out in August, that would get us just, all so excited and riled up. But if we just watch that virtually in our own living rooms or our offices by ourselves, it doesn't have, like, I think about when we saw the season 7 trailer of the Clone Wars, how excited we were, and to have hundreds of people in that conference room, that ballroom, just all excited. I'll never forget walking out of there and running into Dennis Keithley, and we're like, "Oh my gosh!" And we pulled out our posters, and we showed each other our posters. I'm like, "Yours looks just like mine." I know. Look at that. And we took a picture with our poster. I mean, you just don't get that, if you try doing it virtually. And I don't want that. I want to just wait. And let's all get together in 2 years and just have 3 years of anticipation.
Yep, you get 2 years to save money, 2 years to get into shape, 2 years to plan, all kinds of good stuff.
Hey, were you saying that to me personally?
No, you're in shape, dude. You teach a cycling class. You are literally running circles around us.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
no, I just think celebration is a great time for people to, like, make goals and make those goals happen. I mean, I know that didn't we do that one year, Cory, for celebration? We wanted to get in really good shape, and just because we knew how much walking there was, and you're in a lot of pictures, and you just want to feel good while you're having fun doing Star Wars stuff. And if you're not, like, eating well and accustomed to taking care of yourself, it makes the day a lot longer and a lot harder. And because you don't get a ton of sleep, and as we all know, so you need to be sure to take care of yourself. So you've got some time to kind of get your mind, body, and spirit right, so that you can enjoy every little bit of celebration. Because I have a feeling 2022 celebration, now that we have even more of a wait for it, is going to be the best one ever. I really do. I
have a similar feel. It's going to be great.
It's going to be so great. Before we take a break, Cory, anything you want to say about celebration that we haven't mentioned already?
No, I'm in agreement with everything. I mean, I think we've looked forward to, obviously more announcements as they go on, and honestly, we didn't really talk about, but D23, that's coming up in the in between time. That's always a possibility.
Next August. Yep.
Next August. So don't count that out either.
Nope. So what if I said, hey, the Coffee with Kenobi jet is waiting. Do you want to go to San Diego Comic-Con, or do you want to go to the D23 Expo? What would you say?
First of all, I'd say you took all our money and bought a jet. No, I'm kidding.
It's orange.
And totally redeemed yourself.
Yeah,
it's orange.
Orange.
Yeah.
Gaudy. The leather's like
goodness.
the leather you have, and like the weird, drink holders.
Play with bantha fur. Smells delicious. Yeah.
Wow.
Pilots dressed as
which one would you pick?
I guess my answer to that is yes.
They're both in California. D23 is the same exact location as Star Wars Celebration, and it's right across the street from Disneyland. Right? Whereas San Diego Comic-Con is, of course, in San Diego, which has the best weather on the planet, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is great.
I've been to both, but if I had to pick, I would pick the D23 Expo, honestly.
Wow. All right.
Okay. I'm on board too. Yeah. Sign me up.
All right.
Pick me up on the way.
Sure thing. Well, one quick thing I want to mention before we go to a quick break. Fans who are planning to attend Star Wars Celebration this year may either transfer their current ticket purchase to new event dates, receive a refund, or receive a credit for Star Wars Celebration merchandise. And this is from StarWars.com. It's a token of our appreciation and a thank you to all Star Wars Celebration 2020 fans who chose to transfer their tickets to the 2022 show. We are excited to offer a free exclusive Star Wars Celebration Stormtrooper character pin for all transfer tickets All information about transferring your tickets or requesting a refund can be found at StarWarsCelebration.com, and StarWars.com has a picture of the exclusive pin. So there is a little bit of a bonus there. I hope that the store still opens up, because it would be kind of cool to get merchandise that says Star Wars Celebration 2020 when it's not even a thing. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to happen. And that was another thing. I remember when it in Chicago last year, I mean, it really wasn't that long ago, when they announced Celebration that was coming out next year, everyone was like, well, that's cool, but gosh, that's kind of soon. And especially people overseas were thinking, well, gosh, that's a really, really quick time to store up a lot of money. So again, we've already talked about this, but it's nice to give people more time. Speaking of time, we're going to take a really, really quick break, and I'm going to talk to these guys about what they thought about the new trailer for the brand new Star Wars video game, Star Wars Squadrons. This is Coffee with Kenobi.
This is Vanessa Marshall, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books but can't find the time? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects, top-notch narrators, and music directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren to Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, you'll recognize all of your favorite characters from the Star Wars galaxy. Listen to the newest stories in the Star Wars universe, like Star Wars Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston, read by the Clone Wars star Catherine Tabor. And if you like the audio original Dooku, Jedi Lost, keep an eye out for Dr. Aphra, a brand new audio drama read by a full cast, including Mark Thompson, Catherine Tabor, Jonathan Davis, and more. Dr. Aphra is on sale July 21st. Pre-order now. With Star Wars audiobooks, you'll have plenty of Star Wars listening to keep you entertained. Available wherever audiobooks are sold. MEI and Mouse Fan Travel is your one-stop shop for your vacation needs and your plans to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or the cruise lines. Travel looks much different now than it did a couple of months ago, and with the opening of Walt Disney World and soon, hopefully, the opening of Disneyland, you need a place to go where you can trust, and they will help you figure out and navigate all the different circumstances and guidelines that Disney has put out for you. And I can say that we had our vacation modified, and as soon as dates were announced, MEI contacted me directly to help me reschedule, which is exactly what I was hoping to do. So if you are interested in rescheduling your vacation or want to try to plan a Walt Disney World, Disneyland vacation, or anywhere else you want to go on the planet, be sure to contact MEI and Mouse Fan Travel at www.coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefan-travel. Their signature service and expert advice will help you maximize your vacation time and dollar, and they will help you figure out all the different changes and modifications going on at the Disney theme parks. They are amazing, and I can tell you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, the peace of mind that Becky Menken and the crew at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel have given me is invaluable. If you're interested at all, again, go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefan-travel. We are back, and gentlemen, Star Wars Squadrons. Cory, you actually were tweeting a lot about this. You were excited about the trailer EA had announced about basically master the art of starfighter combat and the authentic piloting experience, Star Wars Squadron. Cory, what do you think of this trailer?
I grew up in the 90s and played a game called TIE Fighter back in the day. Yeah. And after that, X-Wing came out, and I remember...
Wasn't it the other way around? Wasn't X-Wing first?
Was it? I thought TIE Fighter was first. Maybe I could be wrong.
I'll check my Google machine.
Please. As you do that, as a fan of Star Wars, a youngin, yeah, whatever, both things. We had a joystick for our computer, and I used to put it between my legs as if it was like a stick for flying, and it worked. I mean, it worked along with the video game, but I was my hands are up on the keyboard, my hand on the joystick, moving around, flying a TIE fighter. That was legit. It felt good, it felt cool. It was kind of all over the place. It was unique. It was Star Wars, and that was kind of one of the first early introductions for me as a fan, kind of getting into what was available at that time. And now we've come kind of all the way up to now, and we're kind of doing that again, but pitting the Empire and the Rebellion against each other again, and you kind of pick a side. I think it's really interesting to see these different type of characters, and knowing how, if you guys have played Battlefront 2, there's also kind of the dogfighting expansion to that, where you can fly multiple different types of ships versus, first person or third person. And this, to me, it seems like this is kind of a superset on that. Like, it seems like they're introducing, from the trailer, what I kind of gathered was they've got a variety of different types of pilots. Maybe you'd be a support character versus like a team leader or something like that. And that's kind of unique. Maybe you have to get a group of 4 or 5 people and you're taking on missions and everybody's got their specific role. And that just really makes that idea of teamwork interesting to me. Like, you're really depending on your wingman, if you will, to do battle with others. And it sounds like it's going to be, you better pick, the good or the bad, and that's kind of your locked in type thing. So, and don't quote me on this. This is what I'm guessing from the trailer that I've seen. So,
right.
That's what's exciting about possibilities for me, is just like being in that team atmosphere around the characters. And they had a lot of in-game footage, made it feel like you're right there in the pilot seat. So whether you are a fan of an X-Wing or a TIE fighter and a whole host of different types of ships, sounds like, get ready, because this seems like this could kind of blast off. This might be the jolt we need as fans to jump back into more in-depth experience as a I want to say a TIE fighter, or as a pilot itself. So
sure,
I'm excited for it. It looks cool.
Because honestly, because there's no movie coming around the pike for a couple of years, and now, as we've been talking about, there's no Celebration and there's no animated series that we have been informed of as being released. We've got season 2 of The Mandalorian, but this is pretty much it. So
yeah.
Let's hope it keeps the flame going. And really, in the early '90s, mid '90s, these games were about the only thing going on. I remember going over to a friend's house and he had X-Wing, and then he had TIE Fighter. And I did look it up. X-Wing came first in '93. Okay. TIE Fighter came out in '94, and then the game X-Wing versus TIE Fighter came out in 1997.
Oof.
And then X-Wing Alliance was 1999. So there was 4 of them, and they had like little collector's editions and all kinds of stuff like that. But that X-Wing game had a Lucasfilm catalog in it, and that was like one of the only Star Wars pieces of merchandise that was out.
Huh.
And then, of course, 95 they re-released this original trilogy again on VHS, and that was when George Lucas had an interview where he mentioned that he was actually going to start making episode 1.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. No. So that's when he announced he was going to start making episode 1. Your Christopher Walken is much better than your George Lucas.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, Tom, what do you think about the trailer?
I think the trailer is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that I'm so thankful for the time that we live in, not just for the beauty of the animation of this game and this trailer, but I have to be honest with you. I'm terrible at flying games. In Battlefront, I dread when I have to get into a TIE fighter or a X-Wing or something like that. And so the reason I'm saying I'm so thankful for the time in which we live is because now I can just go watch somebody play this on Twitch or on, I forget what Microsoft, what their video gaming platform is on Xbox One, but that's the one I would watch it on. But so I can watch somebody else do this, because even though I'm terrible at the flying games, I love the ships. I'm just looking at a screenshot of the one where we're looking right into Wedge Antilles' face in the X-Wing. And it's off to our right is a Y-wing. Right behind him is another X-wing. Then off to the left, you got the A-wing and the U-wing, all coming from, I can't tell what kind of capital ship that is up there, but they're all coming from that. And that to me is, it's beauty. I just love watching those ships. And I'm more of a Rebellion guy than I am necessarily the Empire, but to see the TIE bombers and those lasers that are cutting into that Corvette, I guess I've never seen, except for in Attack of the Clones on one of those walkers, you don't really see the solid laser that cuts. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Those TIE bombers have those cutting lasers that go right into that Corvette in the game trailer that look very cool. And I didn't catch this. I'm looking at on StarWars.com, Dan Brooks' 5 highlights. I didn't realize, I saw Wedge, but I did not realize that around the hollow planning table thingy there, Harrison Dula is standing there.
That's right.
And so that's very cool. So we'll get some cameos, and I'm sure we'll get some Imperial cameos of someone, but we didn't get one necessarily in the trailer. But video games anymore seem so much more like a movie that you get to participate in. So of course I applaud that. In Battlefront 2, when we got to play Iden Versio's story, some cool storyline things in there, and how she changes Alliance. Oh, sorry, that was a spoiler alert, but I guess it's been 3 years
for a while.
Yeah. So, so I'm assuming we're going to have a similar thing in this one. It's just, rather than me being a participant, I'm just going to have to end up watching it, but I can't wait for that. As excited for that as I am to play it.
No, I had a similar reaction. I'm like, when I saw the post, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not really a huge fan of flying games. I don't know that I ever have been. I started getting better at it in Battlefront, but Mason and I were both like, I wish we had more Battlefront, or I wish they would just do more. Let's get Ahsoka and Rex and the Mandalorian in Battlefront and have some fun with that.
Ooh.
But the trailer was compelling. It was cool to see a Trandoshan in a Rebel flight suit, albeit a different color. The other callbacks and the other cameos and things like that. I'm sure it'll be fun. I still need to get through Jedi Fallen Order before I can even think about playing another game. And to be honest, I'm more excited about the Star Wars Lego game coming out December 31st, that it covers all 9 movies in the saga. But undoubtedly, it's going to be fun. And I mean, undoubtedly, it's going to be exciting, and hopefully, it'll add some interesting things. Alphabet Squadron, I know, has a huge following. People who are excited about that book series, the second one having just come out. So there's definitely a lot of things to be excited about. And before you know it, guys, we'll be getting ready to review season 2 of The Mandalorian. And to me, that's what I'm most excited about anyway. Anything else you guys are super excited about before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I think as much as this has kind of been a bummer year for all kinds of events and announcements and things, I think there's still things in the works. I think they're not going to leave us high and dry on new stuff. Like you said, Mandalorian's coming out season 2, and Disney Plus has done a great job of giving us a catalog of things to go rewatch and take notice of. But Star Wars has always been there, and much as we kind of give the callbacks to how we grew up being fans and the dry periods, if you will, there's always been something you can consume that's Star Wars worthy. I think they're always going to have something, as things are kind of juking and shifting and making space for those type of things. So I would look forward to see how they'll do it, but also what next unique thing will come out for fans to take hold of. So something is out there that's always going to be exciting. We can be looking forward to.
Yep, I agree. And Tom, what about you?
Yeah, well, all of the above, but I'm excited, quite frankly, for the High Republic series. Now I know that the release date on those got pushed back to, I believe, January.
That's correct.
But that's that's only 4 months later, so I can live with that. It gives me a chance to get caught up on some of the other books that I missed as they were coming along with Rise of Skywalker. That all coming, but I'm really looking forward to opening the new chapter that the High Republic will bring far back in the Star Wars story. So to me, that's the next radar moment for me, aside from the Mandalorian season 2.
Can you think of anything coming out in October that maybe is something you're looking forward to?
I was just gonna say,
of course.
Wow.
I heard there's a book coming out, but I don't know much about it.
Well, that's
it's all a mystery.
I was curious, Dan, to interview you a little bit. This is your pinnacle year of having contributed to an awesome book, the Star Wars book.
Yeah.
And, getting a little bit of, I don't know how to say it, like, not lackluster, but it's just kind of the pomp and circumstance of having written a book. Like, I know what that feels like. And it's, for you in this Star Wars galaxy is huge. I mean, obviously it was a big get for Celebration, like we talked about. You were looking forward to, having talked to a lot of folks there. People were excited to talk to you about it there. And, it's, what's it like for you to kind of feel this, having the news of Celebration be kind of heavy, and, knowing that your release is still kind of on track, but maybe of a lower fanfare?
Well, I mean, I know exactly what you're saying,
Yes.
and I totally understand. And I'm not sure yet, because
Sure.
there's only certain things I can say, but what I do know is that there's still certain things planned. There's still some things that are going to be exciting. It's not going to be the same as being a Celebration, of course. So it is definitely very bittersweet for me, and of course I was looking forward to that aspect of it. But I'm just optimistic that good things will still happen, not only this year, but in 2022 in August at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. And that there's going to be some really fun things that I'm going to get to do as an author, and great things that I'm going to be able to share with each and every one of you that I'm looking forward to. It definitely will be different, but I do feel this odd sense of peace, knowing that I don't have to worry about anybody. I don't have to worry about, us and our health, and, there's still a lot of unknowns out there with the coronavirus and what's going to happen. And while some states are seeing a reduction, some states are going through spikes, and it's scary. So for my money, when we get the chance to do those exciting things and promote this book and the other things that are going on in Coffee with Kenobi and in the world of Star Wars, for so many of these, content creators that are out there, it'll be wonderful to do it when we can just completely do it. Like, I am looking forward to signing autographs, but what I'm really looking forward to is shaking people's hands and taking pictures with them. And right now, I don't know if that would have been able to happen.
Sure.
So maybe this is another way to say, you know what, this isn't the time, but when the time comes, it will definitely be something memorable that everybody will get to enjoy together.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are, with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is...
As we begin to wrap up the show, I want to thank each of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to have a cup of coffee with me, and for helping to spread the word about our Star Wars family we've got here at Coffee with Kenobi. Be sure to tune in Monday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live at www.coffeewithkenobi.com/live or www.facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi, and have a cup of coffee, tea, or any beverage of your choosing with me as we continue the conversation. To join us in the CWK Cafe, which is our Facebook group, and share your Star Wars thoughts, comments, reviews, and opinions in a family-free, spoiler-free place that is also drama-free, go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/community and be a part of the conversation, talk about this week's show, or just talk some Star Wars. It is a lot of fun, and you'll make some new friends as well as catch up with longtime friends as well. I also want to thank all of my new and longtime friends who joined me in the CWK Cantina, and let you know how much I appreciate your help and encouragement, and love being able to give back to you with CWK Pour-Over, the exclusive weekly podcast not heard anywhere else. I want to thank Dennis Keithley, Jason Hall, Angela Sauce, Chris Kavarka, Aaron Harris, Alexander Moylan, Ross Halliban, Jeff Ellis, David Nicely, Jessica Berry, Colby Mead, Frank Mulder, LJ Souter, Dustin Mills, Robert Avila, Mark Suter, Nick Deco, Eric Struthers, Jared Cantor, Brian McKinney, Daz Davies, Thea Selby, Chris Metz, Caroline Maselli, Jim Capron, Blake Weaver, Dan Ream, Kurt McKellen, Christine, Simbad Tefterdarian, Ian Thompson, Alex Fracasio, Hannah, Tyler Pompa, Connie Shee, Susan Gray, Chelsea Sansbury, Josh Boylan, Yancey Evans, Sagacious Crumb, and Greg McLaughlin. If you want an additional way to help out the show, go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/support and join us in the Coffee with Kenobi Cantina. It's a great way to support and help out the show, and 10% of your monthly contributions go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital to support the incredibly important work they are doing to help these brave children and their families. Plus, contributors at the CWK All-Star level can watch a video podcast of CWK Pour-Over hosted by me, Tom Gross, and Cory Clubb. In addition to being part of the community on Facebook, please don't forget to visit our website at www.coffeewithkenobi.com for Star Wars news, announcements, reviews, live video, and so much more. If you have a question for me or just want to share your thoughts on the air, feel free to email me at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com and I'll share them on the show. You can also connect with me on Twitter at Mr. Zehr, MRZEHR. There are also a lot of ways to connect with me and Coffee with Kenobi on social media. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi and check us out on Pinterest. You can find me twice a month on the podcast Looking at Lucasfilm, part of the Jim Hill Media Podcast Network, and you can find my writing on CWK's website, as well as StarWars.com, where I'm an official blogger there, as well as on IGN, where I contribute articles on Star Wars, as well as other pop culture topics. And if you're considering starting a podcast or a blog, let me know how I can help you get started and help you make your creative vision a reality. Be sure to check out danzmedia.com and we can get the process started. I am also available to come to your school, conference, business, or organization to talk about how to tap into your strengths and help you bring out your very best. I want to inspire you to be inspired. Don't be afraid to take that first step into a larger world. Thanks as always to our CWK sponsors, especially MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, our travel partner and your one-stop shop for all things Walt Disney World, Disneyland, the Disney Cruise Lines, or anywhere you want to go on the planet. Please go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel to book your magical vacation and help support Coffee with Kenobi in the process. If you like this show, please tweet out that you're listening, share it on Facebook, or invite your friends and family to tune in and share a cup of coffee with us. And if the Force is especially with you, please take a couple of minutes to rate and review the show on iTunes or Google Podcasts. Every review makes a huge difference and helps to spread the word. Go to iTunes and search Coffee with Kenobi and you'll see the show there. My circle of friends has grown so much because of each and every one of you, and it means so much to me that we have such a wonderful Star Wars community. Well, speaking of thank you, of course, it's always an absolute delight to chat with my boys, BOYZ. So that's right. So let everybody know where they can reach out if they want to continue the conversation with you. Cory, let's start with you.
Sure, absolutely. Reach out to me on Twitter at Cory Clubb. I'm there. Or if you want to send an email, send it to coryc@coffeewithkenobi.com.
Very good. And Tom, what about you?
Absolutely. On Twitter at Draftline, DRAFTLINE, or send me an email, tomg@coffeewithkenobi.com.
And thank you, everybody, for your feedback. Please let us know what you think about the cancellation of Celebration and moving it to 2022. Are you planning on going? Maybe Celebration is always a guarantee for you, or maybe it's something where it just kind of depends. But how does this change in the time that you have to plan and prepare and save? Will that impact your decision to go to a future one? If you're going to go, please let us know. We'll be happy to keep you informed on all the excitement that Star Wars Celebration will bring in a couple of years. And whatever Coffee with Kenobi has planned, you will be the first to know. So be sure to have a great week and weekend. And remember, this is the podcast you're looking for.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along.
Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects and music directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. With stories from your favorite Star Wars movies, television shows, and comics, you'll have plenty to keep you entertained. Start listening now wherever audiobooks are sold.